What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Rolling Chassis Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Lawrence. Uh, I'm a co host, but my co host wasn't able to make it today. So I'm going to try and hold down the fort on my own today. I don't know how well it's going to work. We're going to see what happens. So that's why when you look at there it is. You look at my name there. I changed it to the soloist today because I'm rocking solo. Hope you guys are all doing well out there this morning. It is trying to turn into a beautiful day for us here in the Atlanta area. Started off very rainy and cloudy, but the sun has been trying to peek out. So I am totally looking forward to that. All right. So for those of you who are new to the podcast, the Rolling Chassis Podcast is all about us giving you our views on automotive news, whether you like it or not, whether you want to hear what we have to say or not. We're giving you our impressions, our thoughts. Today, it's going to be my impressions, my thoughts on the automotive news, what's latest in the news realm for auto journalism. And so we'll just just going to chat for a few minutes. I'll try to inform you guys a little bit about what's going on in the world. And we'll take it from there. All right. So starting off, as you guys know, the EV space is rolling now. Things are definitely taking over, and that is causing the landscape of the auto industry to change. It is evolving. It's gradually going more from internal combustion engines, ICE. Okay, that's the acronym for it. Internal combustion is what we are all used to, what we've all grown up with. You got a gas engine, you put gas in it, it burns that fuel, it spits out, all those emissions. And unfortunately, though, all that stuff is, while it's wonderful for us for transportation and even for fun, it is pretty harmful to the environment, and it's messing up our ozone layers and all that kind of stuff, changing weather patterns. And so we've been gradually making these shifts to some cleaner, renewable energies. And so that's why we're seeing a lot of EV stuff happening now. Well, what's going on is cars as we know it are going to be changing, and actually a little sooner than I was expecting, sooner than I know I personally might be ready for. Um, and so uh, we're thinking that gas engine cars, ICE engines, or ICE cars, I guess I should say, since the E is engine, well, they're going to be going away, and there are regulations that are coming into place now where, for example, I've got this article that I saw from Reuters that talks about how the EU, the European Union, they are requiring that all new cars sold from 2035 will have zero CO2 emissions. That's zero carbon dioxide, okay? Which means anything that has a gas engine in it, they're not going to be able to sell it in Europe anymore, okay? That means they're going to be gone. No more gas engines, nothing. Again, great for the environment, but wow, we're talking about in just a little over 10 years, cars as we know them, totally gone, totally changed, totally different. And what we're seeing as this new budding technology today, that is the full electric vehicle, that's going to be the main vehicle that we're all going to be driving in a little over 10 years. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. It's I've come to really love cars, obviously. For those who don't know, I have a channel called Auto Academics, and we cover the auto industry, do a lot of car reviews. And one of the things that I've always enjoyed about cars is the not just how they drive and everything, but it's the full package. It's how they sound, how they feel, all that stuff. And EVs, while they are wonderful performing vehicles and they can drive just as well, if not even better in some cases than their gas counterparts, they do lack some of um, those other parts that I know I personally have attached onto. The rumble of a big V8 engine, or hate to say it, even the smell of the exhaust. Now, if you're all dressed up in your suit looking fly and everything, they may not want that exhaust that day. But you're hanging out with your peeps, and you roll up and you smell that old school carburetor that's just so inefficiently burning gas. I don't know. For me, it brings back a bunch of memories, and well, those are going to be exactly that, memories soon, because all of that is going to be gone. So the EU, they are mandating now that all new cars sold from 2035 will have to have a zero CO2 emission. Okay, that means no carbon dioxide is being put into the air. But there is a technology that is being played around with right now that might just be able to save that, might be able to save us from totally losing our internal combustion engine. And that is something called e-fuels. I don't know if you've heard of it or not. E-fuels, basically, you're making fuel and you are taking the CO2 out of it using electricity. Okay, I hope I'm explaining this correctly. You know what? I'm just going to read this right from this article here and see if maybe that makes it a little clearer. It says e-fuels like e-kerosene. So apparently there are some other versions of fuels that have that E in front of it as well. E-kerosene, e-methane, e-methanol. They're made by synthesizing captured CO2 emissions and hydrogen produced using renewable or CO2 free electricity. Okay, so basically what they're doing is they're not fully, the engine is still going to be putting some CO2 back into the atmosphere, but what it does is the amount that has been taken out of the fuel, it neutralizes it. Okay, so it makes it to the point where the amount taken out matches the amount that goes back in to the atmosphere, making it carbon neutral or CO2 neutral. So that way, you're not affecting or adding more hardship to the environment by using these fuels and these engines. So that is one possible technology that is on the horizon that might just save our beloved ICE cars, our beloved internal combustion engine cars. They say that you might be able to run it on some existing cars. And one of the downsides to it, though, is that it's not a very efficient fuel. And that brings to mind fuels like E85. E85 has been on the market for a while. I know that one of the main things that is made out of ethanol, that's what the E85 comes from, and they get that from corn and stuff like that. And it was always an alternative. And you even saw some cars on the road that were called flex fuel cars. And so that way they could be able to run on both regular gasoline as well as E85 fuels. The problem with E85 was it wasn't very efficient. So you actually had to burn a lot more of that fuel to get the same amount of power and efficiency, same amount of fuel efficiency and everything. So while I believe in some areas it might have even been a little bit cheaper, it might have been a little cleaner, you still had to use more of it, though, in order to get the same amount of power, the same amount of usage out of it that you would from typical gasoline. So apparently this e-fuel is similar to that. Apparently it's not as efficient as um, regular gasoline is. But by that point, if we're looking at it not as a mainstream source of fuel anymore, as now this is like the side fuel, the side propulsion technology that we're using, because EVs are going to be the primary one. Maybe that'll work out. Maybe it'll be just fine. We won't worry so much about it. We can still enjoy our sports cars that rumble and all that kind of stuff. We can still enjoy some other types of vehicles that use internal combustion engines without having to lose them entirely. So my thoughts on that, I'm game. I'm game. Let's see if we can make it happen. Let's try it out. Let's see how it works. If it's that or losing the internal combustion engine entirely, I'm willing to see how that plays out. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work, but I'm willing to give that alternative a try. What do you guys think? You guys think it'll work? Hey, shout out in the comments. Let us know. Let us know what you think about this new fuel called e-fuel. And see if you feel as though it's viable. Maybe you've got some more information to share about it than what I'm able to share about it, because obviously I am not a scientist nor an engineer or any of that stuff. I'm just a regular dude giving you my opinion on stuff that I'm reading on the internet. All right, now changing gears a little bit and rolling into that same that same mindset, I guess, because it seems like the news today, everything is about EVs. And so if you're not an EV guy, I'm sorry, but it's here. It's been coming, and now it's here, and that's just all the news right now. And so some other information to share with you guys today is, I don't know how many of you guys live in Norway or live near Norway. I don't, but I hear it's a cool place. And out there in Norway, they are already they're basically mandating that there will be no cars with tailpipes to be sold in their country. And I want to say it was by 2025. Is that what it was? Yeah. By 2025. So we're talking about a year and a half from now. They are mandating that no cars with tailpipes can be sold in that country anymore. So they are going full EV by 2025. And one of the first auto groups to jump on board with that in the very near future is Volkswagen Group. And so when I say Volkswagen Group, I'm not just talking about Volkswagen that sells the Jetta and the Passats and the Golf and cars like that. I'm talking about the group, where we're talking about Volkswagen, we're talking about Audi, we're talking about Porsche, we're talking about all those companies. They're all underneath of that umbrella, and they will no longer be selling gas-powered vehicles, anything with a tailpipe, in the country of Norway. They're going straight EV, and so we're going to be seeing a major push from the Volkswagen brand, the Volkswagen Group, in that direction. So that means they're not going to be selling gas. They're not selling diesel. They're not even going to be selling hybrid cars. That's nuts. That's nuts. I mean, that's kind of extreme in my viewpoint. But again, I'm just a regular dude. I mean, I think back, I just on my channel, Auto Academics, right here on YouTube, on that channel, I just posted a review on the new Toyota Prius. As you guys know, that was the original hybrid car that started it all. And they've redesigned it, and it's really good. I'm sure you guys have seen the commercials. They show it zipping through the streets and everything. And it actually drives really well. It's actually a nice driving car. It's not just an appliance as the Prius used to be. And but that's not even the whole thing. I mean, the Prius today can get up to 57 miles per gallon. That's a lot. And so when you think about that, when you put that into perspective, 57 miles per gallon, but that's not good enough. Norway is like, nah, dude, that's not good enough. We want zero emissions. So, cars like that won't even be able to be sold in Norway. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the Hyundai brand, and I don't know if it's the entire Hyundai group or if it's just Hyundai itself right now, but I believe as of January of this year, 2023, they stopped selling um they're just standard gas engine vehicles in Norway. So, that's something that is real. That's something that's happening there in Norway. Just to add a couple other brands to that VW group, in case you really didn't know, that also includes Lamborghini and Bentley also. So, all those baller cars. Sorry, Norway, your choice is going to be very limited from those brands. But that's the move that's happening. And it only takes one to start the ripple effect before it starts catching on to other countries, other places in the world, and moving into that direction. So it's just something to keep an eye on, something to be aware of. And yeah, I'm seeing here that since 2020, the only engines that Hyundai was selling in Norway were plug-in hybrids. Okay, the only cars with engines were plug-in hybrids. So yeah, things are definitely moving in that direction where cars are changing. Cars are changing as we know them, for better or worse. It's all perspective. It's all how you look at it. But what we are familiar with and what we've become accustomed to over the last 100 years, it is now changing. So, moving on from that, I think about how some of the cars that I get for review, I get a lot more EVs for review now. I have a Genesis electrified GV70 that I worked with last week, and it's a lovely car. I gotta say, EVs are, there's nothing wrong with them. Here's a picture of me there as I am at the charging station when I first got the car, just kind of topping it off. The Genesis, they are known for them along with Hyundai and Kia. They're some of the few brands out there that have very fast charging. You can get from 10 to 80% in like 18 minutes. The challenge is it does require a level 3, 350 kilowatt hour charger, a 350 kilowatt charger, which those are not very common. That charger that you see me at right there is 150 kilowatts. So it took, it takes a little bit longer to get to get that 80% charge with those, but it's still very quick. Don't get me wrong, it's still very quick. And then obviously anything lower rated than that, any chargers that are rated lower than that, is going to be a little bit slower. It's going to take a little bit longer to get that charge in there. But I mentioned that to say that this is the direction that charging is going in, or that cars are going in. There used to be a time when I'd see, oh man, 2, maybe 3 cars a year that were electrified, and that was just within the last couple of years. And now I'd say out of every 4 cars, at least one of them is an EV now, a full EV. And then another one is a hybrid or plug-in hybrid, some other variant out of the 4 cars that I get. So, at least half has some form of electrification, maybe more than that, if I really think about it, because there are lots of hybrid vehicles that, they're mild hybrids and things like that. So I guess technically with any form of electrification, maybe it's closer to 60 or 70% of the cars I get now have some form of electrification. So, again, we're seeing the trends. They're definitely here. It's just you know, as they gradually move in and we become accustomed to them, you don't realize how much they're starting to take over and becoming the norm and not becoming just that minority of vehicles moving into the space. So so yeah, that's what's going on in the industry today. Um so that I'm not just rambling on today, I think I'm gonna get ready to wrap it up. But you know, I just wanted to share some of the automotive news of this week, you know, the recent happenings this week in the automotive industry with you, give my thoughts on it, whether you like it or not. And, you know, just chat with you guys a little bit about what's going on. Um, as always, you know, if you enjoyed this video, go on ahead and like it, subscribe. The Rolling Chassis Podcast is a new channel that I started with my boy Starrett Hartley. And you know, again, he wasn't able to be here today, so I'm holding down the fort today. But you know, it's just a nice way to chat with you guys more in real time as opposed to the pre-recorded stuff. Get a way to get in front of you guys live. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully I didn't bore you guys to death today or what have you. Obviously, if there's anything you want to add in as you watch this show or rewatch the show, go ahead and add it in the comments section so that you know, we can start maybe a little dialogue or what have you. Again, subscribe and you know, get ready to tune in again next week. We broadcast every Monday at 9 a.m. right now, and you know, hope to be able to see you guys again next time. So, signing off. This is Chris. Also, if you get a chance, check out my YouTube channel as well. My other YouTube channel, Auto Academics, car reviews, new car product launches, all that kind of stuff. So check that stuff out. Check out my man, Starrett Hartley, Organic Praise Ministry, as well as Motor Ministry. You can find him on Instagram, as well as a couple other platforms. But yeah, now I am rambling. So I'm wrapping it up. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Good seeing all of you. Hope to see you again soon. See you next week, next Monday, 9 a.m. Peace.